Sam is a YouTuber from Cleveland, Ohio, who has been uploading footage of his stealth camping trips to his channel, The Northwest Wind, since 2016. For those unfamiliar, stealth camping basically means parking your van pretty much anywhere without paying for it. Sometimes residential streets, sometimes the middle of nowhere. In January 2024, Sam uploaded footage of a trip where he left his van at a local dog park and walked a few hundred yards into the woods nearby. On his way in, he passed a camping tent that had been completely shredded to pieces. Honestly, a little creepy, but he kept going anyway. He set up his tent, started cooking dinner on his camping stove, and as the sun began to set, he noticed a couple of people walking by the campsite. That's when he mentions getting a genuinely bad feeling, the kind most experienced campers will tell you means it's time to pack up and leave. Sam decided to stick it out for the night anyway and kept recording. As soon as he settled into his tent to sleep, things got very creepy very fast.
There's somebody, hang on. I don't know if they could see it or not through the tent. I don't think so. I'm leaning right up against the light, but somebody's walking around out there very close to the tent.
Footsteps, close, moving around the outside of the tent. He couldn't tell if whoever it was could see him through the fabric in the light. As the seconds passed, the footsteps got louder, more deliberate, circling. He called out. Nothing. He called again. Still nothing.
Walking around outside in circles. Hello? Hello? All right, I don't like this. Hello? Hello? They're touching my tent. Stop. Hello? Hello? All right, I'm getting out of here. Hello? Hello? I don't know what this is, but we're getting out of here. Hang on. Hello? Okay, they're walking away now. What do you want? What do you want? I have a knife. Where's my knife? With me. With me here. Holy crap. Get away. What do you want? Hello? I can't see you. Hello? All right, I'm getting out of here. We're getting out of here.
It took about 5 tries before he got any kind of response. And the response wasn't words. The footsteps just kept circling, walking in loops around him, getting closer with every pass. Then they collapsed the tent on top of him. Sam fought his way out from under the fabric, completely disoriented, asking out loud what they wanted, saying he had a knife, saying he couldn't see them. The figures backed off for a moment, and then he stepped outside and saw them standing there, just feet away, completely still, watching him in silence.
There's my tent on me. I don't know which way they went. I think they went this way. I see you. Get away! All right, I'm spooked. I don't like this. Get my headlamp on and we're getting out of here right now. They're just standing there. They're just standing there. What do you want? Leave me alone!
He grabbed what he could and ran. Behind him, he could hear them moving again, and at one point he looked back and saw them going through his abandoned gear. But rather than go back for it, he kept moving.
All right, they're moving again. I don't know, I'm getting out of here. We're going. I'll come back for this some other time. All right, let's get out of here. I'm leaving, don't follow me! I don't know where to go. I don't know which way to get out of here. I smell your cigarette, I can hear you! I hear you!
Terrified, sprinting through the woods toward the trail that led back to the dog park. At some point, he turned around again and saw them now coming after him, moving through the fog and trees. He kept recording the entire time, narrating that he was calling the police, that he didn't know where to go, that he could hear them behind him.
Lead back to the main trail. I don't know where they are. I think it's all foggy up here. I got water in my headlamp. I don't know where to go. I don't see or hear anybody anymore. I hear them coming. I can Can't see the shadow. Here's a path. Okay, get me there. I'm recording all of this. I'm calling up police. All right, I'm back on a path. Back on a path. Okay. Okay. Get away from me!
He made it back to his van safely. The next morning, he went back for his things and found that nothing had actually been taken. Whatever that was, it wasn't about theft. When the video went up, the comment section split almost immediately. A large number of people accused Sam of staging the whole thing, arguing that nobody in their right mind would keep recording while sprinting through pitch-black woods being chased. But watching the actual reaction back, it's hard to land on that conclusion. People respond to extreme stress in wildly different ways, and continuing to narrate into a camera while running is exactly the kind of thing panic can produce rather than disprove. Staged or not, the footage remains one of the more genuinely unsettling things to come out of a stealth camping video. The moment an intruder touches or circles your tent fabric, evacuate the structure immediately. A tent is a severe visual blind spot. Once collapsed, it acts as a straitjacket where you can be easily pinned. Always keep a survival blade clipped to your body to slice through the rear wall for a fast exit. A solo female creator who frequently camps in some of the UK's creepiest forested locations set up for the night beside a 400-year-old abandoned church. With a genuinely dark local reputation, stories of grave robbing, bones arranged on altars, skulls left on spikes, and a murder that reportedly happened on the road just outside. She pitched her bivvy in the woods next to it, settled in for the night, switched her headlamp to its low red setting, and looked out into the trees one last time before trying to sleep. Two eyes were staring back at her, completely still. Bright red, sitting between the trees in the dark, locked directly onto her position. She talked herself through it on camera.
Okay. You see the red eyes over there? I'm just going to assume they were deer eyes. Freaky. I don't like the red eyes. I keep telling myself it's just because I had this. My red light on my head torch, that's why the eyes look red. And if I had the white light on, they would have just been white. Because they're just deer eyes. But it's all that talk of devil worship and stuff, and then seeing red eyes in the woods. It's not the one. Proper giving myself the heebie-jeebies now. And I will welcome the sunrise.
Telling herself it had to be deer, that the red glow was just her own headlamp reflecting off their eyes, and that if she switched to white light, they'd just look like ordinary eyes. She admitted out loud that all the talk about devil worship and grave robbery was clearly getting into her head and making her see things that weren't there. Still, she said, the whole situation wasn't exactly helping her sleep. She told herself she'd just welcome the sunrise and get through the night. In the morning, she stepped out of her bivvy and immediately spotted something that made the previous night feel a lot less like an overactive imagination.
Look at this tree here, that's been cut with an axe or something. There's no stump down here, so this tree's been cut with an axe and placed here, like jammed in with this one. What would be the point of that? That's just strange, isn't it? Why would you axe a tree down and then pin it to another tree? And I was sleeping just here, so if that had fallen down, that'd just like skewer me.
Right beside where she had been sleeping was a tree, cleanly cut through, no stump, nothing natural about it, wedged deliberately into the branches of a neighboring tree so that it hung suspended at an angle directly over the spot where her head had been. She stood there asking out loud what the point of something like that could possibly be. Why would someone cut a tree down and then jam it into another one like that? If it had fallen during the night, she pointed out, it would have come down directly on top of her. A freshly cut tree suspended over your campsite without a stump foundation is a highly unstable widowmaker hazard. If one appears silently while you sleep, it is targeted human intimidation, not wildlife activity. Do not stay to film it. Clear the drop zone immediately. Roy runs a channel built around off-grid living, mostly footage of life on the road and out of his truck, usually peaceful stuff with a focus on nature and independent living. In December 2017, he uploaded something that happened earlier that year while he was car camping in a parking lot. At around 1:30 in the morning, a hooded figure approached his truck. Because the back of the vehicle where Roy was sleeping was completely dark, the man almost certainly assumed nobody was inside. He started walking slowly around the truck, pulling out his phone, taking flash photos of the license plate from different angles, methodical, patient, not in any rush. After a few minutes, he moved to the side of the vehicle and shone a flashlight directly through the window into the cabin, clearly trying to get a look at what was inside. That's when Roy acted. He slammed his fist hard against the inside of the metal wall, and the man bolted instantly, disappearing into the dark without looking back. It's unclear exactly what he had planned, but based on the behavior, it's hard to imagine it was anything good. Most likely scouting for a vehicle to break into or steal. If a stranger is photographing your license plates or VIN tags in a remote parking lot, they are gathering data for a targeted carjacking. Do not step outside to confront them. Aggressively slam the interior metal walls to break their stealth, start the engine, and drive away instantly. Sean runs the channel Love Sundays, where he posts footage of his solo camping trips across the UK. In a video from September 2022, he shows what happened one night while parked along the side of a road in Cornwall. Technically, he wasn't supposed to be camping there due to parking restrictions, so he made an effort to keep things low-key, going into his van before dark, cooking dinner as quietly as possible, and turning the lights off and going to bed around 9 p.m.
I'll see you in the morning. Good night.
Everything seemed completely fine until around 2 a.m. He heard something outside.
And it sounds like they're walking around the van.
A car had pulled up directly behind his van. Then footsteps, multiple sets, moving slowly around the outside, hands scraping along the panels. This wasn't a quick knock and announcement, the kind you'd get from a police officer or someone with actual authority asking you to move along. Those situations almost always go the same way. A knock first, then a verbal request once they have your attention. This was different. Someone was trying door handles in silence. The moment Sean pulled back the curtain to look outside, whoever it was scrambled back into their car and sped off immediately. He figured that was it. He went back to sleep.
Right, well I think we should at least go outside and see how miserable the weather is.
The next morning told a different story. Sean went to open his side door to step outside and start the day, and the door wouldn't budge. The interior latch moved fine. The door itself was completely frozen shut. Someone had wrapped zip ties tightly around the external door handles in the night, sealing him inside his own van. He had to cut himself free. It's anyone's guess why someone would lock a stranger inside their own vehicle like that.
So there's obviously just people wanting to talk about and just be funny, I guess, but how dangerous is that, locking someone in their van? Let me check the back door. Well, there's nothing on this one because they wouldn't be able to tie it to anything, would they? There's no way they could have done that door anyway.
Maybe an attempt to buy themselves time to take something from the van, maybe a local who simply didn't want anyone parking there. Either way, Sean got himself out and was back on the road shortly after. When stealth camping, your vehicle is your ultimate escape capsule, but only if you have direct access to the wheel. Never block the path from your bed to the driver's seat. If intruders zip tie or chain your external handles, climb into the cab, start the engine, and let vehicle torque snap the bindings. A creator known for camping in some of the most remote and unsettling locations he can find has been returning to a mountain trail in western North Carolina that locals call the Devil's Throne. And every single time for 3 years straight, something has followed him.
That's weird. I thought I heard footsteps. I couldn't tell if it was in front of me or behind me. I could just hear wet stomping. I know one thing for certain. I am out here by myself. So nobody else is up here. Well, no human anyways.
On one trip, mid-hike, rain hammering down at almost 5,000 feet, he stopped dead. Wet footsteps, heavy, stomping behind him in time with his own steps. He checked. The pullover at the base of the trail was barely big enough for his truck. No other vehicles, nobody else up there, at least no human anyone. On the descent, the footsteps came back. Same wet stomping, same rhythm, keeping exact pace behind him all the way down to the parking lot.
When you're in the forest, you never know. You just never know.
A second trip to the same mountain brought something different. A sound, somewhere between a scream and a cry, cut through the trees twice, coming from an area with no trail, nowhere a person should reasonably be. It didn't sound like a bobcat, it didn't sound human either. Whatever it was moved parallel to him through the trees as he climbed, never getting closer, never falling behind.
I could have swore I heard like a screaming sort of sound. It happened twice from over here somewhere. There are no trails out this way. There's absolutely nothing. There it is again. I have no idea what that is. It does not sound like a bobcat. It doesn't sound human either. It sounds weird.
Just staying with him.
As an update, we continue to go up. This trail is not oftenly used, so it's not really all that well maintained. At times, it's almost like bushwhacking. The odds of it being a bear, it's likely. But what are the chances of that happening twice? A year ago and today? I don't know.
On a fourth trip, he camped overnight directly beneath the rock formation the trail is named for. Mid-dinner, he froze completely. Something nearby, close enough that even reviewing the footage afterward, he genuinely had no explanation for what it was.
What on earth was that? I wonder if the camera picked that up.
4 trips, 3 years, something every single time. He's never once seen it. Wet weather and dense trees create an acoustic shadow, making it impossible to accurately judge a stalker's distance. If a parallel tracker is moving through off-trail brush, never stop moving to listen. Maintain a brisk, continuous pace toward your vehicle bottleneck before the physical gap is closed. Nicholas Papireau runs a small YouTube channel out of Wisconsin where he posts relaxed fishing vlogs and gear reviews, the kind of content you'd expect to be completely uneventful. In June 2025, he uploaded a video that took a much darker turn than usual. It starts like any other video. Nicholas fishing at a local river, his dog Lola hanging out nearby. Then, on the edge of the riverbank across the water, he spots someone watching him from inside the bushes. In the captions, Nicholas describes the man's expression as unsettling, wild, intense, the kind of look that makes you immediately uneasy. Nicholas looks away, hoping the moment passes on its own. It doesn't.
Lola, come here.
How's it going?
The man steps out from the trees, and he's no longer alone. A second man joins him almost immediately. Neither of them is carrying any fishing equipment. Neither of them says a word. They don't acknowledge Nicholas's presence at all beyond staring directly at him, occasionally pretending to examine the bark of nearby trees while standing just a few feet away in complete silence.
Come here. Come here.
After several long minutes of this, Nicholas decides he's had enough. He calls Lola, packs up his gear, and moves further upriver, left wondering what the two men had actually wanted, and whether it was simple curiosity or something with more intent behind it.
They were peeping me out from down the river, and then they came closer and closer, and they were just tending to look at the trees, and then they kept staring at me. Fuck. Usually people like say something or whatever. They're just standing there staring, like, especially peeking past the trees halfway down the river and then getting closer and closer and then standing next to me and just staring at me. Yikes.
When a stranger violates your close physical proximity in the wild and refuses to speak, they are testing your boundaries and trying to induce freeze panic. Do not stick around to figure out what they want. Maintain eye contact, state a loud verbal boundary, and exit immediately toward a populated zone.